And now it's really a pleasure to invite Dr. Sharad Kumar Shankar, the resource person for the second session of the day. He is presently working as Senior Assistant Professor in the Department of Library and Information Science, Baba Sahib Bhimrao Ambedkar University, Lucknow. Before joining this university, he has also worked in various universities and institutions like BHU Varanasi, Desi Delhi, Digital Library, RGUH Library, Jhansi. And he has more than 17 years of experience in library profession, and presently he is involved in teaching and research. He has guided 4 PhD, 11 MPhil, and 70 PG students. He has also done specialization course in information technology application to library and information sciences from NCSI, IISc Bangalore. He has contributed more than 130 papers in national and international journals, books, and conferences. Sir, over to you, sir. Please
First of all,
unmute.
hello.
Yes, sir,
Hello.
you're audible, sir.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank organizing committee for giving me this opportunity to deliver talk on the digital library because since 1 hour I'm listening about all the resources which are available on the digital platform and which are very useful for all the participants, our students, research scholars as well as faculties. So shall I share my PPT?
Yes, sir, please.
Yes, sir. Dr. Shiba, sir. Uh, yes, sir. Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So how it is visible or not?
Yes, sir.
It's visible,
Sir, PPT is not visible.
not visible.
Yes.
Sir, did you, Dr. Subhash, sir, did you stop your presentation? Oh, yeah, please. Yeah, present now, sir. Present now.
One second. Oh, madam, it is visible.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So today, friends, we are going to discuss about the digital libraries and many things we will discuss like why we need to digital libraries and features of the digital library. What are the infrastructures required to development of digital libraries? And some of the point I will cover related to the open source, what is the open source softwares and how it's useful for our libraries. Then I'll discuss about something about GSDL. It is Greenstone Digital Library softwares and features and how to build a digital library collections. And some I'll give some demo about the digital library collections and benefits of the digital library. So basically, when we talk about the digital libraries, as you all are well aware that the initiative taken in 1994 to develop research in digital libraries, National Science Foundation has taken some initiative to develop digital libraries. Then first phase was started in 1994 and completed in 1998. So why this concept came, digital library, virtual library, etc.? Because of the information technology. So information technology means those technology which help us collect, store, process, and disseminate information. And web publishing. Now we are most of the libraries are publishing e-content through the institutional repository. So these are some points, like our users are very much IT oriented, and they have more skill related to information technology. So to fill their diverse information need, we require a digital libraries. And the advancement of infrastructures of libraries, all these things force us to build or develop a digital library for the users. So what is digital library? It is a service or an architecture or a set of information resources or a set of tools and capabilities to locate, retrieve, and utilize the information. This is definition given by the Fox. I have another definitions, like this is practical digital libraries given by the LEST. A digital library is a collection of information which is both digitized and organized. It's a very simple, but I will come to the later in the conclusion, going to the various definitions. Like this is Iverton. Iverton is a principal scientist who has developed the GSDL. GSDL is Greenstone Digital Library software developed by the Iverton. He said that a collection of the digital objects. Object means here this whatever file we are accessing through the digital library, like text, video, audio, and so a collection of digital object with method of access and retrieval, and for selection, organization, and maintenance of the collection. Iverton has defined the digital library in such a way that the next definition is digital library are a set of electronic resources and associated technical capabilities for creating, searching, and using information. This is given by the Borgman in 1996. And this is one more definitions. See, the digital libraries are organizations that provide the resources. It is an organization which provide the resources, including the specialized staff, to select, structure, offer intellectual access, to interpret, distribute, preserve the integrity of, and ensure the persistence over time of collections of digital work, so that they are readily and economically available for use by the defined community or set of communities. So like that, there are so many authors have given a definition about digital library. But when we come to at the end of this, so we can define that digital libraries is a collection of the digital object with some additional services, and it should be accessible through the internet or intranet. So why we need digital libraries? Digital libraries are needed to provide quality-based services at the user doorstep. Like earlier lecture, Professor Panda has covered that in pandemic, our library has played a vital role for providing electronic service resources and services to their users. Why? Because of the digital collections. So we need digital library to provide services at the user doorstep. Then you all are aware that the visual and graphic information system of digital library is more popular as compared to text-based information system. When we are reading a book, after 1 or 2 hours we will sleep. But at the same time, if we are watching the videos, or watching the movies, or watching the cinema, or watching the book, means we never sleep. It create interest to watch, and the videos audios has more impact on the mind rather than a text-based information system. So why we need to digital library? The new generation will become only happy when they will be able to read from the computer screen. Now you see from the childhood, our kids are using mobile, laptop, etc. for reading, etc. Reading and learning. So if they, you know that in this situation or earlier that most of the users are accessing information from their office, their hostels, their departments, and no need. Very few users are going to the library for the issue and return purpose, because the libraries are subscribing more and more electronic resources and providing the services at the doorstep of the users. The digital lab is expected to be able to handle the problem of information explosion somehow. It also help to handle the problem of information explosion. Like you know that within a year information is doubled. So by using a digital library, one will be able to retrieve information specifically for a particular image, photo, or a definition, etc. So to offer learning from home, office, or other places which are convenient to users. If you want to provide service to users at their doorstep, their home, their office, then you need to develop a digital library. So what are the features of a digital library? It provides 24 hours, 65 days perpetual access to very large information. It offers full text document. Full text means you need not require to get only the surrogates. Surrogates are metadata, means title, author, etc. You get full text information. Suppose you need not to go to some another source. Like bibliographical database, you will get only the bibliographical information, then again you have to go to the full text. But in case of the digital library, you will get full text information. The very important features is to provide reference linking features. Reference linking features means you can add, you can just immediately you can reach to particular documents which he or she has cited by writing a book or writing a document or writing a manuscript. So immediately you can find out to the particular contents of it. Then it enhances access and delivery of information in network environment with user-friendly interface. Our best feature is the support long-term archiving and preservation of human knowledge. As you all are aware that National Digital Library of India has more than 25 lakhs documents. Then this Sodh Ganga, there are a lot of digital repositories. They are developed for the perpetual access, long-term archiving and preservation purpose. A variety of searching and browsing features available. You can search by simple search, you can search by advanced search, you can limit the search. So there are a lot of features. Supporting traditional library mission of collection development, organization, access and preservation. Our libraries are already doing this work. They are collecting information, they are organizing information, they are providing access to subscribe information, purchase information to their users. So the digital library also support traditional library mission. Integrate personal, group, enterprise, public digital libraries. If you are developing a digital library, you can integrate various groups and enterprises. Supporting publishing, annotations, and integration of the new information. Through this digital library, you can publish annotations, integrate many information which are available with you. Offers variety of opportunities such as e-learning, e-governance, and new employment, etc. It's also offer new employment. Suppose you are a well expert in the field of digitization, in the field of technology, in the field of management of the resources, management of the databases, etc. You may get job. It's also provide opportunities for the employment. So what are the infrastructures? Infrastructure required for development of a digital library. Basic things. So first we see we require hardware. So we have to select the hardware as per our institution requirement, like server. This server is a kind of machine. That machine which is used for the web server, file server, email server, etc. So you require a server, a machine which is a high end capacity, and we can make separate server for the digital library or web server, file server, email server, or we can done all these things within one server. It's up to you as per your institution requirement. When we talk about the nodes means computers, laptop, palm top, etc. Through we are going to access the digital libraries. So this is also required if we want to develop a digital library in our institution. Then printer. There's many kind of printers available in the market. So line printer, laser printer, inkjet printer. So it is required. Suppose some person is not like to reading in the screen. So we have to have a facility that we can give print out to a particular person. So that printers also required for the development of the digital libraries. Or there's scanners also required to scan, to digitize print document into electronic form or digital form. So there is flatbed overhead scanners like Minolta PS7000. This is one scanners, and this scanner is available for the different purpose. If you want to scan manuscripts, or if you want to scan microfilm or microfiche, then you need MS2000 scanner, which is used for the scanning of the microfilm or microfiche. When I was in Desidog, there was a project for the digitization of the microfiche and microfilm. So we use that scanner and digitize the microfilm and microfiche. So if you want to convert into electronic, microfilm to digital form, you can convert to the scanners. Then you require digital camera. Suppose some information material is fragile and it's very difficult to scan with a flatbed scanner. So you need a digital camera. Example like Canon 3 to 5 MP. This megapixel is sufficient for the scanning of this manuscripts. When I was in BHU, that time they have done the digitization project of the manuscripts. So they use the Canon 3 to 5 megapixel camera for the digitization of the manuscripts. So these kind of technology are required for the development of the digital library. So when we talk about the software part, then also you have to select again as per your requirements, like system softwares, Vista, Windows XP, Linux, Unix, Macintosh, Windows 2000, now Windows 10 is available. As you want, you can use as per your requirements. Application software you require MS Office, browser, Adobe Reader, Real Player, etc. OCR software. It's very important because when we are digitizing any documents, it's come in the image format. So we need to OCR because image format document we are unable to index, because when we convert image into the text format, then it will be it can be indexed. So we require OCR software like Adobe FineReader, OmniPage, TextBridge. These are some softwares which we can use according to our requirements. Then we require file format converter. Nowadays, so many file format converters are available free of cost. But if you use Adobe Distillers, then it will be very useful. We can here protect the documents according to requirements. So now you see, you want to provide anything access from your institution, you require a web server software. So it's Apache is very popular word, famous softwares for the development of the web server. So you can use the Apache or PWS or IIS. Any software is all are free except IIS because it's come with the Windows. So you the PWS or Apache you can use very good softwares. Now, but you require the antivirus softwares also to protect your document, to protect your data. Now come to the last point, the digital library softwares. There are a lot of software for the digital library development. So basically, it's Greenstone digital library software built to develop a digital libraries. Then because Greenstone has many facilities, like there a librarian has control over the collection. They can develop metadata, they can create a collection, they can control the collection, even though they can generate username, password for the users. So there are a lot of facilities. But like DSpace and ePrint or Fedora, all are the digital archiving softwares which we can use. But basically the Greenstone is digital library software. Then this LAN and internet infrastructures we require for development of the digital libraries, like lease line. Without bandwidth, if you don't have high bandwidth, you will face problem in accessing of the information or delivery of the information. So bandwidth is more important. So you need high bandwidth like 2 Mbps. LAN connectivity also required. Then this is UPS. UPS is very important because nowadays electricity is create problems for everywhere. Then for the all system you have the air condition. These are the some infrastructure which required for the development of the digital libraries. So there's see there what kind of collections are available in the digital libraries. So collections are the basic building blocks for the digital library constructions, which refer to the digital documents, basically e-books, e-journals, e-clippings, e-content page, e-reports, conference paper, poem, painting, song, journal, etc. So we can categorize into two types only. Two types means born digital and converted or digitized. So what is the born digital? Born digital means those documents are digital objects are created or generated in the digital form are known as born digital. Means those already it initiated from the digital only. So those documents or digital objects are created or generated in the digital form are known as born digital. Then another one is converted or digitized. Here those documents are captured or converted from printed document to digital documents. Or digital objects are known as converted or digitized. So these are collections. Now we will talk about some open source software, some features like open source are free of cost. You can get the source code, you can modify, you can distribute to anyone, and also you can distribute anyone, and you can charge also if you want to modify something. If you know some programming and you just modify, you just develop according to your customer requirement. You can charge for it. So this is a very good phenomena and philosophy to promote resources, to promote technology. So here is no discrimination against person or group. Anyone can use, anyone can download, anyone can distribute. Uh, we talk about the digital library software about Greenstone. So Greenstone is open source software. Open source software for constructing and distributing digital library collection through internet or CD-ROM. It's very good. It has very good features. Like if you build a digital library, you take in CD-ROM form, and wherever you go, just put the CD-ROM. The software automatically install, and you can access the digital library there itself. And the software is developed by the New Zealand Digital Library Project and distributed by the UNESCO. And you can see it's available in various platforms. The features of the GSDL. It's open source philosophy. Anyone can access, anyone can modify, anyone can change according to your requirement. Then interface and content delivery by web. You can just nowadays you download and you can access from anywhere. You can manage content from through web, and multi-software platforms supported. Means it you can run on the Windows, you can run on the Linux or any other. Multi-formats, doc, PDF, etc. Any formats. Structure metadata and XML English, Dublin core metadata is available. Then metadata extraction. Extraction means the software itself extract metadata from the digital objects, which is available in the file. So it will extract metadata from the file. Searching and browsing facility available. You suppose somebody don't know how to search, you can create the browsing facility. You can provide author wise, subject wise, title wise, as which you want. You can just create plugins for the documents. This is a very important feature, plugins for the documents. Suppose new formats came and it is not available in GSDL, you can just add to the plugins. So it's a very good features, like full text mirroring. The software itself just mirror the full text document. It will create another file and save in the partition. So text level penetration, you can just search the text level. Full text searching is possible. Full text indexing is possible. Data compression possible, password protection is possible. Like I told you earlier that you can get password for a user itself and the administrative functions also available. So this concurrent and dynamic content developments, uniform presentations, you can publish on the CD-ROM, easy installation, easy maintenance. Hierarchical structures means alphabetically you can see the document alphabetically, subject wise in hierarchy system. Then this interface customization. We can customize interface according to user requirement. That features also available. Then scalability, flexibility, interoperability, OAI complaints, everything is available with it. So what are the digitization process? I'll talk about the process. There is some steps. First, we have to select the materials. What material we require for the development of the digital library. So we have to select the materials. Then we have to just remember that any copyright material we should not select, or we should purchase the copyright for before scanning and going for the development of the digital library. Then second step is scanning. Scanning, just we have to scan the documents from the print form. Then you have to develop scanning. After scanning, we have to do the OCR. When we are doing OCR, then there is a lot of problems because no software is going to provide you 100% accuracy. Then you have to just check. You have to just see that you have to do some editing somewhere, like if some documents is fragile and it's not scanned properly or not OCR properly, then you have to do the editing things. Then you have to create the metadata, and verification is required for whole documents. So these are some process which require for digitization. When you have a document ready, then you need some softwares for building the digital collections. So like GSDL has some features like GSDL has some features like gather, enrich, and design, create, and format. Gather means here we have to gather. We have to gather documents from the various sources, and just there is option, either you copy or drag. You can gather the collection. Then enrich means here you have to create the metadata. Metadata means you have to create the content metadata. Like any file, you have to create metadata, title, author, publisher, creator, then copyright, URL, etc. Then the last option is create. Create means here you have design. Design means here you have to design indexing, and then how it will present. So then this create. Create means you have to just build the format, build the collection. Collection will be created. Then format. Format means here in which format you want to present your digital file. In this way, you can develop a digital library collection. So you can develop thesis and dissertation collection. Even though you can import for the CDSIS bibliographical information in the GSDL, HTML documents, you can upload or import. Then this journal URLs you can import in the GSDL, the multimedia document, ebook, realistic book also. Realistic books means like you are reading the book in your real situation. Same documents you can develop to the digital library. So these are some benefits. What I have listed some benefits related to the digital libraries. The digital library brings the library information to the users at anywhere, anytime, anywhere. You can access it. Allow you to access information on the desktop without any barrier, such as place, time, etc. There is no barrier. Wherever you want, you can access. There is no barrier, no this is required. Digital library can be accessed wherever there is a PC with a network connection. Wherever you have internet connection and PC or laptop or palm top or mobile, you can access. So digital library enhances access and delivery of information to the searching and browsing. It supports full text searching with various options such as keywords, phrases, boolean, proximity, etc. So these are some techniques which we can use for the searching of information. Hyperlinks allows link various chapters, sections, bibliographies, references, and type of digital objects, such as text, image, audio, video, etc. So the hyperlinks we can add many kind of digital objects within one document. So this is a very beautiful features of the digital library. So network compatibility facilitates resource sharing more easily and storing digital information on the network, make it available to everybody. The same electronic documents or information can be accessed simultaneously, more than one users at a time, and librarian can generate multiple copies of the document to meet requirement of the much longer population of the users. So reduce cost of conventional libraries like building, professional staff, and maintenance, and preservation of the reading materials. Reduce the cost of conventional library. If you are building a digital library, you can reduce the cost of the conventional library. It promotes digital material and enhance preservation of the knowledge for the present and future generations. So we can just promote digital material to the digital library. Need not worry about the stolen, misplaced, and reserved or check out other documents. see, in traditional libraries, we are always worried about this. Book is misplaced, is not available on the rack, or somebody is stolen, or something is. We put so many technology like CCTV camera, biometrics, RFID technology, etc. for the security purpose. So, are some automated activities like automated circulations and stock verification, etc. So, but in the case of the digital library, you need not require about the worry about the stolen misplace and reserve or check out of the document. It supports e-learning through the global access of information, collaboration and exchange of ideas. It is easier to update, keep information current, and produce new form of information. It is foundation of a knowledge center without war, open 24-hour day and accessible over a network. So what are some limitations of the digital libraries? When we talk about the limitations, first is the technological obsolescence. Today you purchase and after 2-3 years you will see that the technology obsolete. You need some another technology. You need some another document. You need some another software. You need some another hardware. So this is a very big problems. Technology obsolete. Technology is obsolete day by day. So we need to take care of it. Preservation and content refreshing. Like when we are preserving content, we need to refresh within 5 years or within 6 years because the technology obsolete. Format obsolete. We have to change according to technology, according to formats. So then bandwidth. See, like if you, I am talking about this. I am talking about the bandwidth problems. If you go to the remote locations or remote distance, within 5 minutes your connection will be disconnected, and you are unable to deliver any talk or any lectures or any because of the bandwidth and connections network. So bandwidth should be more and more for delivering of the information. Intellectual right management, it is also very important features nowadays. We have to see, we have to track whether whatever we are going to digitize, we are going to convert, we should take permissions or we should take that document which are not comes under the copyright, etc. The lack of adequate infrastructure. So infrastructure problems, nobody is going to give the money for development of the digital libraries because any institution they want what is the benefits of this will be very difficult to convince administration for development of the digital library in the environment. The lack of expertise, everything is available but see the expert persons is not available in the field so for development of this so these are some limitations. So now, so libraries should come forward to develop a digital collections to meet past and present information and create a strong base for digital collection and services to better future information. Professionals should promote or initiate to utilize open source software for a variety of purposes like automation, establishing digital libraries, institutional repository, digital portal, library portal, etc. See some examples. I am here. I have captured the screens of the National Digital Library. See, it has around 5 crores resources. It is available in the many languages. So this is the World Digital Libraries, which has data around 193 countries. So in this way, I'll show one more example. This Digital Library of California. California Digital Library. So they are offering the resources to the digital libraries. So here is some uh, how they providing the information. So here are some examples which are given. How for hello, hello, hello,
Sir? Sir?
hello. Yes, yes. Now, question.
Pardon, sir?
Thank you for listening.
Thank
Now
you,
tell me
sir.
if any.
Now, over to the participants. Participants, if you have queries or questions, you can post them in the chat box. Dear participants,
No questions. I think.
okay. I don't think the participants who have questions to be posed. Now, there is a compliment for you, sir. Thank you, sir, for a very good presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.
And another statement telling that Dr. Bhupendra Prasad Bansal disagrees with the statement that open source can be charged.
Yes,
Now, there is a question.
open
There is,
source may be charged. See, people are charging for that, but they are offering service. Like if you are going to install or implement somewhere, you can charge at not for the technology. You can charge for the service which you are going to give to the particular organization. So you can charge for the service, not for the technology. Technology should be open for all. If somebody is want to take your help, you take your expertise for implementation of the technology, you can charge for the service. Hello?
okay, sir. And now there is a question. Is audio available in any digital library?
Audio books are available, but in this our national digital library NDL, there is no audio. I think. But many digital libraries which develop in the 2008 to 2012, there was a second phase development of the digital library. They have developed book in the audio and video form. Even they have developed for the map also. So you can access because I also have some books which are available like Passage to India. It's a very good book available in the audio form. So there are a lot of books available in audio form, no problem.
Okay, sir. And there are quite a number of compliments from the audience telling that it's a very good and comprehensive information, very informative session. And Dr. Bhupendra Bansal has another, I mean, he has come out with a reply. That's the library fee and not for open source. But the
Sorry?
space is using more than, but D space is using more than Greenstone. This is his.
Reason is that the green stones are see this space was popularized by some institutions in India. See, problem is that after Dr. Rajsekhar, see when I was in NCSI, that time we have tested the GSDL ePrint archives and COA. I am the first person who has installed COA in India. and implemented in NCSI, and it was published paper in 2002 in SRELS. So GSDL nobody has popularized in India and not promoted. See, if I am giving training for the D space, actually Greenstone is very easy to install, but that much D space not easy to install. Problem is that if you are selling something in the market, advertise is very important. Advertise is very important. Like see, each and every person knows that Rin soap, but there are many soap which is better than Rin, but nobody knows. So same thing is that advertisement is very important, and branding is very important. Actually, this space was not earlier open source software. It was developed by the HP. But when they saw that another software is available, HP and MIT, so it was open. Like see, I'm giving one more example. You know, Dr. Harau from Hyderabad. He had developed a library automation software. It was very fantastic and very very good, excellent software. But nobody has promoted the software. It is also available open platform. The problem is that people are just teaching Koha. So if you promote any software, it will get name and fame. So people are promoting this space. So people are using more this space. Actually, this space, ePrint and Fedora, these software developed for the development of the digital repository. Digital repository means it's a distributed system. Any student can upload their documents. But in Greenstone, there is no facility. Only a librarian can manage the collections. Nobody can upload the document. Nobody can do this. Only librarian can manage the collections. So there is a concept. Digital library concept is different. Digital repository different is concept.
Okay, sir. And you've got quite a lot number of compliments telling that it was a very informative session. And now there is a question from Ms. Anita Sharma asking how to attract mediocre students towards e-library.
How to attract? Sorry?
Attract mediocre students towards e-library.
Okay, very good questions. First of all, when our students are coming to the institution, joining, the librarian has to give orientation program, has to organize orientation program, what we have and what you can use. See, if somebody don't know what is available in your home, then how they will ask? If they know that these things are available at your home, then they will ask. So, the first step is that we have to give orientation program about what we have inside the library. Then we have request to the teacher, faculty member. See, faculty member is a person who can redirect student to your library. They have to refer that you go to the library, see these books, see this audio material, see the print material available in the library. You go and give assignment. The faculty, if faculty member is given assignment, okay, you do this assignment and these assignment related documents are available in the library. The student automatically come to the library. This is the only solution. and we have to this online interactive video about the library collections, how to find information. So when users are free, they will access how to get relevant information. What is the difference between the Google and libraries? So when the student understand, okay, we are getting information from the Google, like finding a needle in a haystack. But a library is a place where we will get the relevant information. So they will come to the library instead of the immediate approaching to the Google. Google has a lot of documents, but we need to have the capacity that we can evaluate the information, whether it is useful or not, whether it is relevant or not. So we have to just prepare orientation program, attractive orientation program. We have to immediately when the student enter in the institutions, we have to organize orientation program. We have to use the latest technology like QR code. You can generate free of cost, put the poster on the some outside of the department, that the new books. People are nowadays using Android phone. They will immediately scan and see the book. So we have to do some work. We have to do some work, and definitely the user will come to your library. I'm sure that I'm satisfying your query.
Without doubt, sir. And Dr. Bhupendra Bansal has also recorded his view that easy and feasibility is more important for famous of any application. And there is a word of gratitude from Mr. Srinivas Mupidi telling that thank you, Sharat Shankar ji. It was nice presentation. Thanks for accepting your request to present today. And now there is a question from Lalita Rawat. What to do where there are no librarian at all? How to digitalize e-library with limited resources? How to digitalize library with limited resources?
Madam, actually I have put जहाँ चाय वहाँ राय. हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं, जहाँ चाय वहाँ राय. So I'll give one example. I went Amritsar University, Amritsar, Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar, and I saw that they have developed a digital library without resources. Without resources means they have just they have a camera only, a camera, Canon camera, and they're putting on the stand of the loudspeaker, and they were discharging the manuscripts. They were discharging the thesis. So without limited resources, you can generate a digital library. But you have to put efforts.
Okay, sir. And it's a request to Mr. Ashwini Kumar. Can you please mute? There is an echo from your mic. And Dr. Bhupendra Bansal has thanked you, sir. And there is a word of thanks from Ms. Anita Sharma, Ms. Benedicta Sangma and Anita Sharma. She has congratulated both the resource persons, and they have complimented that it's an interesting and informative session. And dear participants, do you have anything more to be clarified? More questions, more queries? Your questions and queries can be posted in the chat box. So hope that's all from your end. Sir, it was really a wonderful session, so informative as all the participants have mentioned it here. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that informative session. And we know it was in a short notice that you have